To Georgia now, where the parliament has overridden the presidential veto of a divisive foreign influence bill targeting NGOs and the media. Large crowds have gathered outside Georgia's parliament in Tbilisi to protest the controversial law. The law requires media and non-profit groups to register if they receive more than 20% of their funding from abroad. Now, critics say it would limit press freedom and stifle Georgia's efforts to join the European Union. The legislation has triggered weeks of mass demonstrations in Georgia. And Maria Katamadze joins us now from Tbilisi. Maria, what was the protesters' reaction there when the bill was passed?
Well, the protesters are very angry, very disappointed. We have seen some of the people literally bursting into tears when they heard that their government passed the bill in the third reading. Now, it's been 50 days. It's unprecedented for Georgia that around 50 days people have been coming to the streets to say that they're not going to allow their government to pass this bill, regardless the domestic backlash, regarding the Western pressure and looming sanctions. Still, the government decided to do so. And the speakers of the government said that the decision was very important for Georgia, that would allow Georgia to be sovereign state, to be independent state. But the protesters here say that the government is trying to steal the European integration, to make them closer to Russia, that the government is trying to appease the Kremlin, and they're afraid of Kremlin, and they say that they want to be part of Europe. That's why this news comes at a very difficult time for Georgia, where we expect in October the parliamentary elections, and they say that before that elections they will still protest. It's around 150 days until October elections. They say that they're going to use this time to make more pressure on the government, and when the election day comes, they will make their own decision whether they want this government, who is increasingly seen as pro-Russian, as they say, or they want something else.
So very determined protesters who say they're not going to give up, but this bill has now passed. So just clarify for us what is at stake for Georgia with the passing of this foreign influence bill.
Well, for Georgia, what is at stake is its relationships with the West, with the main strategic partner, namely US and EU. Georgia's EU integration is in danger. Now, we can see that the relationships between West and Georgia is at the lowest point, and still, even though the bill is adopted, still the EU is urging to change the dynamic, still urging to reconsider this decision, urging the government. But as we can see, the West is trying everything to avert this authoritarianship from happening in Georgia. But the government says that they want to avoid war in Georgia. They say that Russia still occupies part of the country, and they are trying to sell this bill as if NGOs and civil society groups are dragging Georgia into the war with the leadership of the West. That's the official narrative of the government, and the protesters don't believe in that claims. They say that for a ruling party, it's important to maintain their power, and that's why they're introducing the repressive laws that is going to help them to win the parliamentary elections. Now, the question is how we can talk about fair and transparent elections when the election watchdogs, independent observers, they're mostly, very likely, they're going to be shut down in Georgia because they will face fines and repressions. That's what the civil society members have been telling me here.
Maria Katamadze reporting from Tbilisi. Maria, thank you so much for that update.